Hello, I'm Chris Williams, and welcome to a review of Age of X-Men 1. Let's start out here. The cover is drawn very good. You see all the characters on it. You see Magneto, Jean Grey, and Colossus. It's just a bit of a boring cover that just the only really notable thing about it is that it has a lens flare on it. And otherwise, it doesn't really even need a 1 since it's just a one shot. It's not like it's going to be an ongoing series. It's all very drawn very well, but it's still a boring cover, and the background is washed out. But that's just a minor complaint. Some of the costumes are just boring and bland. Storm is just wearing ordinary clothes that you'd see see black women wear, and the first page is yet another page with that just lists all of the artists and writers. What happened to just having a little part of the first page having or even part of the artwork where they just listed the artists and writers and everyone who contributed to the book? But no, we just have a page dedicated to them. I don't think they should be very happy about it, because this is a horrible comic, and I'll tell you about that as we come to the real first page. We see what looks like 1950s America, only populated by mutants. We see them with various different colored skins. We see firefighters using their water powers, while little kids with marked abilities chase after it. We just see them speeding along on their fire truck. Next, we come to what looks like a 1950s diner, only this circa mutant version. We see a character that looks like Storm and another character that looks like Morph. But I see in this comic a lot of characters that just look like off-colored brand versions of the X-Men. In fact, the kid in the white shirt could be Iceman for all I know. I mean, he has brown hair. And the other girl he's talking to could be Kitty Pryde. Here we come to yet another version of Storm, only old and fat. And we also see someone screaming in what looks like a museum, while the janitor outside suddenly freezes and falls down like he's a statue. Oh, what we find here is that it looks like time has been stopped. Well, at least in this area, because there's a plane flying overhead, though you wouldn't know it because it also looks kind of washed out, except for the streak behind it. It looks like it's brightly colored. And we see it's an X-plane, or not the Blackbird, but a plane the X-Men are using. We see Bishop, who's flying it with Jean Grey right beside him, and they land the plane. And they talk about what is going on, how everyone is suddenly frozen, and that it's coming from some certain area. The X-Men look around. We see Nate Gray take point while Storm is beside him. Magneto is in the back. And they just walk around the town that has been frozen like it's been frozen in time. Whether this is actually they are actually frozen in time is not known. They might just be telepathically controlled. For another reason, they're all also flying. It just seems like there should be more people on the ground. Then suddenly the ground begins to shake. They figure out that the power must be getting... Who's ever doing this is losing control, or they're having... whatever's happening to them is becoming worse. What they find is a young mutant girl who is bald. She apparently is frozen time, and she's causing everyone around her to start floating as well. She's going through a seizure as her powers are beginning to manifest. Nate Gray talks her down, and he uses his powers to help her control and stop what she's doing. He says to her that she has great potential, and because of her powers, that she'll go to a school early, and that she has great potential to become an X-Men. After this is all over, everyone returns to normal, with all the X-Men posing with all the citizens and them taking photos. They even have a guy with a 1950s camera. It seems like there was some massive tech fallback, because why are they using such old tech? We see Angel, who runs the Summer Institute. He basically teaches young mutants. And they show her around. The young mutant is amazed at what she's seen. We see Sunfire in a suit while he's still wearing his mask. Ooh, well, that's just not very funny. Why is he wearing his mask if he's a teacher? And we see Glob, who's been appointed a farmer. We see him as he looks at Angel and Nate Gray and the girl as they talk, and he seems to be suspicious. He seems to know something because he's staring off into the camera. And later on we see... Well, we don't really see anything about that yet. We have to read his own comic for Glob to know what he's thinking. Later on we come to a different part of the comic where all the X-Men are talking about what they've gone through. And Nate Gray sees something. He sees Bishop and Jean Grey start holding hands. Or at least their fingers touching each other. Afterwards, the X-Men start to relax with their newest mutant recruit, Nature Girl, the girl with the horns, does something with nature while Storm knits. Jean Grey and Bishop start kissing because they're apparently in a secret relationship, because relationships among the people are no longer happen. Mutants are born artificially, so sex and any kind of relationship is a no-no. They end up having a relationship and doing it, and Bishop feels funny about, so he says that they should stop. Later on, we see what Nightcrawler is doing. He has a movie career. He's filming a movie here where he's fighting this guy to save this girl. The fight ends after the director says cut. This is all to show that Nightcrawler in his spare time is an actor, and this part of the book could be cut out, but it's part like the original X-Men Alpha from the 90s. This is all to go into parts to show different comic books that are coming up for the X-Men Age of X event. Here we come to Bishop, who was thinking about his relationship with Jean Grey, when suddenly the secret police of the Age of X-Men burst in on him. They say he's violated the law because he's been in an illegal relationship, and the X-Men chase him down. Here the artwork is kind of bad. I mean, it's decent, but it doesn't really give it why suddenly Iceman is throwing Bishop. They throw him to the ground, and then Monita uses her psychic abilities that she uses with her elongated fingers to look into his mind. They find out that he has been in a relationship, that their suspicions are correct, that his relationship with Jean Grey, and they decide to erase her memories and his, and replace him off of the X-Men with another recruit. He has been taken prisoner because I think this has happened before. So they erase him, at least his memories, and they erase any evidence that he had been living there. And this is how this part of the story ends. You'll have to find out what happens next to him in his own comic book. And it's not even a very good intro to it. Later on, we see Jean Grey and Storm talking. Jean Grey says that she can't remember what happened to her last night, and Storm says that shouldn't really be possible for you. They move on from that. They were talking about her not being able to remember things, and they go to a meeting with the X-Men. The X-Men now have a problem. There is some guy in New York causing some sort of mass fiasco. He's talking about something, and they're worried about him. Their new recruit is X-23, but apparently they've all had their memories altered, so it looks like she's been there for years. They even have a photo that used to have Bishop there. And they all talk about this new guy and about what he's doing in New York, that he's stirring up trouble. And the guy they're worried about, well, that's quite the surprise. It's no one else but Apocalypse. Well, Apocalypse causing trouble? Oh, what a surprise! I'd say when he causes trouble, it's less trouble than I don't know what you would really say. He doesn't cause trouble. The guy is the Apocalypse. He will end the world. He wants the survival of the fittest. But from what I've seen of him in when he appears in Age of X, it doesn't look very good. But here, it looks like he might actually do some very great supervillain things, or at least cause them do something that's better than this boredom that this book has been. Age of X-Men Alpha is a boring book. It is not good. It is boring, and you should spend your money on something else. If you like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and leave a like. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.